Hello, and welcome to Pawk Explains. I might make a series of videos like this, who knows? But for this one, I'm just doing one in regards to a question asked by Ken Burton, which was, what is an MMORPG? Now, what is an MMORPG? It's kind of a broad term that people have been using for a long time, so let's just break it down. So, it's an acronym standing for Massive Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game. Doesn't really explain that much, though. So we have to take a look at what each one of these elements is. So, pretty much, the standard MMORPG will have some of the following elements in it. It'll be a multiple-player game, so it'll normally be a fairly large amount of people, not just a few people or a few players. It will normally be a large number, normally in the hundreds, if not thousands of players online at the same time in the same area. And so, for example, lobby games don't exactly count as an MMORPG. The only one I can really say could count would be Guild Wars, because you lobby and then you go into the instance with whoever you find in the lobby. Also, they have elements of RPGs. Those are standard like leveling up, gaining new abilities, gaining new powers and whatnot, as well as upgrading equipment and getting new items that you find in the world. So, some examples of these games are Cities of Heroes, which is a superhero game. There's not really an equipment setup per se in City of Heroes. What they do instead is you have these little enhancements you stick onto your powers that gets upgraded. So it's a slightly different thing, but there's still leveling and it's still fairly large. You have different servers you choose from, and you can play with lots and lots of different people. Then you have Lord of the Rings Online, which is not free to play, by the way, if anyone didn't know that. Lord of the Rings Online is very standard fantasy hack and slash and whatnot. So magic and spellcasting, pets and whatnot. Then we have, of course, the king of all MMOs, World of Warcraft, which has millions upon millions of subscribers, not necessarily millions upon millions of players, but millions upon millions of subscribers. And the game itself is pretty much the basic hack and slash game and whatnot. And then, of course, we have the upcoming Star Wars, the Old Republic game. So I get the feeling I'm forgetting one here. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I know. Final Fantasy 14, which is coming out very soon. This September actually is when it's releasing. And so that's pretty much all the MMOs I can think of. And well, I can't figure where Pawk came from. Of course, Pawk came from Final Fantasy 11. I wouldn't forget you, buddy. Don't worry. So what does that make other games like Diablo 2, StarCraft 2, Second Life, and Call of Duty even? Well, for the most part, these three games, Diablo 2, StarCraft 2, and Call of Duty, all share a couple things in common. They all have leveling elements. I know for StarCraft it's more ranks and whatnot. It's not so much level up your character to gain access to other things. Diablo 2 is very classically an RPG. It's what they call a dungeon crawler, where you just go in and you find random loot and whatnot. And Call of Duty has what they call RPG elements, meaning that you can level up and gain new stuff. It just really isn't an RPG because you don't really level your character. I mean, your guns don't become more accurate or more powerful. You get access to more powerful guns, but you don't actually become more powerful yourself. And they are multiplayer, but are they massive multiplayer? Not really, no. They're not massive multiplayer. They have a massive lobbying system, and that's different. You can't take into account the lobby system as a part of the game. So, for example, Diablo 2, while it would meet every other criteria for MMO, it's not MMORPG, I should say. It's not an MMORPG. It is a dungeon crawler. It is 4 players maximum. I know StarCraft 16 players maximum. Call of Duty, obviously, ground war, very large, massive amount of people, but it's still not past the hundreds. So these aren't massive they're multiplayer online games. They have or more appropriately, they have an online player mode, which is more what that's referring to when you see it's online. So what about Second Life? Second Life is one of those games, it's one that Ken mentioned. Is it an MMO? Well, it's definitely a massive multiplayer. I mean, you do have lots and lots of people in the game. But what about the RPG elements? I mean, do you level up? Do you grow as a character in there? Well, in the strictest terms for an RPG game, as it relates to computers or pencil and paper, no, you don't level up. There is no leveling up. You can acquire new items for your characters, you can buy houses, you can buy things, but you're not leveling. There's no progression. When you start the game, when you end the game, you are still the same basic person. It's more of an online chat room, I think. That's my opinion. It's more of an online chat room with 3D graphics. It's not really a role-playing game. So it'd be like what they would call an MMO. Because you'll see people split the terms up now. We have the MMO, the massive multiplayer online, and then you have the RPG, obviously, we've had for years. But this is where you have some split. Say this is an MMO, but it's not really an MMORPG. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little video. I figured I said I was going to make it, so I decided I was still going to make it. And if there's a topic you'd like me to go over and, say, do another video on, just go ahead, put it in the comments below, or send me a request via my YouTube account here. Just hit send message. So, I'd like to thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you here again on YouTube. My name is Pawk, and I'm out of here.